Hey everybody, welcome to What the Flick, The Americans, Season 4, Episode 4, Chloramphenicol. I needed to look at that one. Ben, Alonso. Oh shit, they killed Nina.
Yeah.
Did
you fall for the dream at all? I did for a second.
A little bit, and then it got too, like, wait. But I certainly didn't expect that was going to be the result of the whole Oleg, being coerced to stay in the Soviet Union thing.
Right, but they did a really nice job making what was clearly in hindsight a ridiculous dream sequence seem real, because we come out of that conversation, and so your first thought is, wow, Oleg's dad
pulled some strings.
Has real pull, like he made something happen here, and he not only got her out, but he really wants to show his son how much he wants him to come back. He got the other guy back so she can fly back to America with him, and they had tickets and old school, how you used to
Aeroflot tickets.
Right, Aeroflot tickets from a travel agent, right, which of course it is 1983. And I was like, oh, that's great. I mean, my wife and I were like, oh my God. She's just dreaming. Oh, she is getting transferred. Oh, and even when the guy said, your sentence has been, your appeal has been denied, I kept thinking.
Oh, back to the gulag then. Yeah.
No, I kept thinking, so, your punishment is the worst punishment we have, worse than death even. You're expelled from the Soviet Union. Like, I thought they were going to do some trick where they feel tough, and they're like, so she's like, so I'm just leaving, fantastic. But no, death sentence will be carried out shortly, as in seconds from now.
Yikes. Yeah, so that was intense, for sure. This was a weird episode in terms of, it's sort of this reminder of how many plates Philip and Elizabeth are constantly spinning by taking them off the board.
Yeah, right.
And all the stuff that, so when Martha is calling him and he can't get back to her, and, Paige now knows things but doesn't know enough to not be freaking out, or what does she tell people? And, now she realizes that, like, Stan is someone to be nervous about when he starts poking around and asking questions. So, it was a weird sort of, like, it was suspense by attrition in a way.
Yeah, there was, but I thought a lot of suspense in it.
Oh, no question, yeah.
I thought, again, I'd say list off the things that I was wrong about. I thought Elizabeth was pregnant.
Oh.
I thought maybe that was why she was throwing up.
Oh, okay.
But then she was sweating at night, which is, I think, not a symptom of pregnancy.
Yeah, that is a Chekhov's gun usually for vomit equals pregnancy, cough equals imminent death.
Cough equals doom. But of course, the show did it differently. It turned out, no, just a bad reaction to the antibiotic. Everybody's fine. But I thought Paige was particularly great in this episode. She always is. Holly Thomas, not quite right. I'll get it. But she was so terrific.
Yeah.
And all kinds of a great scene between the what's his name,
Dylan Baker?
Detective Adderall. That's not his name. Agent. The guy who
took, that guy.
Aaron Holt, the guy who took Martha to dinner.
Right.
And Martha's sort of explanation of her relationship was really good. I don't know, it was super grown up. It was really grown up. I did not think it was going to end as sort of heartbreakingly as it did.
Yeah, and it's it was an interesting conversation in terms of, and we talked about this some with Billions, how usually anything out of the sort of norm of heterosexual relationships is always looked at askance. And for her to describe this relationship in such a kind of clear-eyed way, even though it's not true, although it's truer than she thinks.
That's right.
It all unfolded really interestingly. Now, what exactly does
Holly Taylor, by the way.
Holly Taylor. What is Stan finding in her apartment that he found so fascinating? Was that like some sort of like the Kama Sutra?
I think it was
it
was a sex book sort of, and I think it was just a realization of, she's just she just has a life I don't imagine.
Sure, yeah.
But it turns out she's got sexy underwear and a sex book. And nothing else.
Yeah, so she's not all secretary all the time.
Right, but she's not. But there's nothing strange going on here. She didn't orchestrate Jean's death to cover up the fact that she put the pen there, although she almost did.
True, and she's been very smart about both she and Philip obviously not leaving any sort of Clark evidence around the apartment. So
Yeah, but what a great her message left to Clark.
Yes.
Philip, was really good.
Yes.
I mean, it was just so much good stuff. So much good stuff.
And even though it was a bit of a throwaway at the end, but the fact that now Paige and Elizabeth are at a place where they can make a joke about the spy training.
Yeah.
Oh, do they teach at a bowl? You
Yeah,
know?
no, that was good. What did she say about that?
Very important part of training.
Very important part of training. No, and then they're giggling, and no, that's nice. So like all of a sudden, and you see Paige's worry, maybe recruiting her is possible, and then for Frank Langella to say, I'll tell them that they'll never be able to recruit Paige. Maybe that'll save Pastor Tim and his wife. And they, they're like, and he's like, look, I got to tell him something. We don't have to do it. We don't have to do it, but I got to suggest it later. But now all of a sudden, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. And again, like I was saying this before, and I hate to try and predict things because I'm generally wrong, but I sense an idea of that if somebody has to take out Tim and Alice, it's going to be Paige, or it's going to be or Paige is going to initiate the discussion. And be like, look,
lure them maybe.
Yeah, I screwed up. This is the only way to fix this. As much as I hate to do it, like we got to take care of business.
Yeah, but so we learned that Tim and Pastor Tim and his wife, they're good for now.
For now,
although they could go down clearly, and it could turn.
True,
in an instant.
They could go full Nina here.
But I think a realistic turn of play for Elizabeth. I mean, to change her thought process on that, to have that sort of dream and remember sort of, again, what it'll mean and what it means to stay close to your mother.
Sure.
And the way Philip was like, no, I'm not going to blame everything on you. If you die, I'm not going to sully her memory
of you. Yeah.
He's such a good guy. But again, they're good guys. We like them. We like, even though he's killed a totally innocent person already this season.
Yes.
Philip had in the bus.
And several over the course of several seasons.
Right. But we got a reminder of, like, oh yeah, they're right. They're Soviets, and again, not letting us off the hook. But I mean, they're working for people. They just shot Nina in the back of the head.
Right.
She did everything she could for them. Her big crime was that she, sent money back home. Right. That wasn't that her original crime.
No. Well, the original crime. Oh God, who can keep track?
No, but it was minor. And that's what got her. That's what got her working for Stan. She was working for Stan.
Oh, right, because she was moving money.
Right, but she didn't really give anything up, and then she turned herself in. I mean, in a sense, she should be praised.
Yeah, no. She's been pretty above board for the most part. Relatively speaking, for this world, above board. And if you don't have power, you're screwed.
No, Jesus, Nina. But they had to, I think, narratively. I think, like as you even mentioned, that how are we going to work her back into a Philip Elizabeth?
Yeah, it did seem a little strange. I mean, in a way, it's kind of like, all right, well, we snipped that thread because it was just sort of dangling.
Right. So they're smart. Like they didn't shoehorn her way back into relevance. They thought, no, she'd probably get killed. We'll just kill her, and it'll have an emotional impact.
Totally.
All right. As always, great stuff, and amazingly, Pastor Tim has survived another episode. He's made it through 4 so far.
We'll see how long that lasts.
All right. Thanks.